Alright, so I'm gonna do one final video regarding The Incredibles 3. There was a few pieces of information that came out a long time ago, and want to get some updates on that. So this article is basically new director. Uh, he's helped out on a few projects. Elemental, A Good Dinosaur. His name is Peter San. He's working alongside Donna Murray. Basically going over his brief history, him being a voice actor in many projects like Ratatouille, Monsters University, Lightyear. He 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 sounds like the protege, the typical protege. This was Incredibles 3 last year, the year before, basically saying it would be officially announced. Now the release date, as the first part of this video, basically the plot and what I hope comes out from this, the release date should be like 2027, the latest. And hopefully he does well. We're rooting for him. I think plot wise, I'm gonna go over a few things. So I think they should fully explain Operation Chronos. Like they should have what the second portion of this video will be the villain. Have him clear this up. Like let him be influenced by this. Let him be maybe a super in hiding, a good guy working for Syndrome, or just someone influenced by it. So we can explain this entire process and how shady and corrupt, other benefactors maybe have played a part in this, or shady corrupt governments or people involved in this. And then you get the conclusion of this, because this was one of the more palpable yet like really dark aspects of the story that I think should happen. Two other really quick points for the plot. These characters, Splashdown, Metaman, and Plasma Ball, specifically these two, they need to be reintroduced to the story, but only to be quickly taken out, not quickly taken out and like to kill off, but like by the villain himself. And I'll also go into why I think this is the best route. You keep them on the side, but you have them just give some wisdom to the characters moving forward. And then finally, I think it is time you age Violet up. Like let her be an adult. Let's go into the plot of this. I think time skip guaranteed has to be a 5 to 10 year. Let's have Bob and Elastigirl, even Frozone on the sidelines. I'll be honest, you got to keep Frozone at least a little bit because he has carried these movies in terms of like tone and just being that extra factor, charisma. He's added a lot to these movies, and he's also, I believe, helped the Incredibles movie a ton. People had mixed reviews about it. It did well in the box office, but people had mixed reviews. I think he was one of those good aspects of it. So going back to it, have the Carr family children take the lead. You can sideline the older OG characters out and the older heroes out. We don't get I'll explain part 2, and that's that. So now, people were explaining some stuff. You had this guy.
Besides, he needs to take down the Incredibles so he can be the top superhero once again, which will in turn make him turn into the top supervillain instead.
You had this guy who wanted Frozone to be a villain. I think that's a terrible idea. You have this guy. Wait, you have this guy.
Talking about a time skipped, grown up, full potential, fully realized Jack Jack. He is by far the strongest characters in the Incredibles verse, and imagine if he went off the rails. We would have to see this family come together to take down one of their own. But jokes aside, I do just want to see a time skip in general. I want to see the kids grown up.
So this was more joking, but basically what he's talking about is, he said time skip. I'm going to go in 3 directions. I'm going to say a clone. And I think personally, the clone should be a clone of Metaman or of a Syndrome and Jack Jack fusion. Could be even, I'll explain that one later. Now, why would a clone make sense in this? I think him not being in the story was for a reason. I think Mission Incredible was never the most powerful. I think he was, clearly. And I think, like, they're making it obvious that Jack Jack is going to be the most powerful. whatever one ability he has or multiple abilities he has, he's going to be the most powerful in his family, even if it's one thing. So I thought it was just interesting that they got him out of the story in a joking manner, but I think he's going to come back in a meaningful one. Definitely, if not in like an actual clone capacity, I think in maybe just some notes. I think a clone of Jack Jack and Syndrome, like a Superman, Superboy vibe. Sorry, Lex Luthor, Superboy vibe, is probably a route that could be taken, and then we don't have to introduce any new aspects of the story. That one is up in the air, but I think that one also is fine. Now, to me, I'm gonna go to one that I think is probably that would quench your palate a little bit better. What if you had a Mr. Sinister like adult? He was a kid. He was probably closer to, I would say, Dash's age, right? What if when this kid was younger, he had the ability to mimic other people's powers, like Mono? This is going to get even more deeper. I think Monoma is like a perfect layout. These three characters are a perfect layout of what the villain should be, whether he was on the villain side, turned evil, or just grew up confused. What if this kid, when he got older, realized he could not only mimic, but he can just flat out absorb and steal abilities for whatever duration? It doesn't have to be permanent. He can steal them. He has data on all of this. But the best part is he can not only steal one, but at max potential, he can steal 5 or an unquantifiable amount of number. That gives you so much room to put caps on this and to not turn it into something that a writer has to jump through loopholes to figure out. And that way, you can take inspiration because all 3 of these characters I'm showing to you on screen, they have limitations and they have tons of material you can draw from. But this is 100%, I think, the route in terms of a villain they need to go. I haven't heard this option yet, but I'll take it a step further by saying the way you get Frozone, Mr. Incredible, and Elastigirl out of the story is you have this guy whose friend or foe just straight up steal their powers and perhaps even kidnap them for the kids to save in some capacity. That way you can have them in the story, obviously not kill them off, but this guy could be basically an amalgamation of the however many of the heroes you've grown to know and love, just used for evil now. I think that is the even perfect one, and then a perfect send-off. And then to make this guy an actual threat, let's even say he can be like a cyborg type of vibe. He can be one of the Omni droids combined with like the DNA of any of them, of Jack Jack. But you have to elevate the threat level so much that it takes the amalgamation of whatever superheroes are left on this planet in this universe to stop him, and potentially could fail. Stakes, story, gotta go as crazy as you can, but I think it's pretty good. I think you can definitely jump through a few hoops. Now, part 3 is going to go over 2 aspects: the future of this franchise, possible spinoffs, right? In my opinion, the prequels, no. I think spinoffs should be future, well, one prequel. I'll say Frozone deserves his own movie, set obviously within this current year of events, current timeline, sorry. He deserves his own movie. Lucius, I think Violet, adult Violet as a team leader, deserves her own movie. And Jack Jack also. Those 3 can have their own projects, however how small or big they want to go with it, that's fine. But start with that. Now the plot of the movie should do 2 more things: the Underminer and Voyage they should have them like wrapped up too. I think they should deal with that and maybe even deal with the any Omni Droid remnants because this obviously there's a following of Syndrome somewhere. So just push all those stories out in the first half of the movie, and then the back half could be this this amalgamation of just unstoppable force. But he has to have some enthusiasm too. So that's why, well, you have enough characters to pick from. So that's my take on it. I'm really enthusiastic to hear what you guys say. Two things I want to hear from you. What are two things? What are just things you don't want to see in this film moving forward? And then when is the release date you would be happy with? Because they can't wait too long. Otherwise, it'll be like GTA, but it's not GTA, so it doesn't have the wow factor to hold people on that long. All right, that's it. That's all we got.